The Tippah County Football Halftime Show is brought to you by the Shark 102.3, your Northeast Mississippi information station. The Shark crew is proud to support our Tippah County student athletes and bring you a word from the leaders of the North and South Tippah school districts during halftime.
Hey everybody, it's Melinda. Welcome to the Shark 102.3 Halftime Show. I hope you've enjoyed the game so far. Today in Sunbear Studio for the Halftime Show, I have Mr. Trey Rolison, who is the principal at Walnut Attendance Center, which is the most northern school in our school districts of South and North Tippah. Trey, thanks for driving down to the south part of the county to talk to me today.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me.
How long have you been at Walnut Attendance Center?
This is my 6th year as principal at Walnut. It's actually by far the longest I've stayed anywhere. Before now, 3 years was my longest tenure anywhere. But this will be year number 6, and I look forward to, I hope, quite a few more there.
Now, Attendance Center, tell everybody what that means.
Okay, an Attendance Center means that you have from kindergarten through 12th grade all on one campus. So years ago, Walnut was Attendance Center, and at some point they divided it into a K-6 elementary and a 7-12 high school, junior high. And I actually took the job as the principal of Walnut Elementary, and about 3 weeks later was told, by the way, we're going to make an Attendance Center again, which was fine. I love all my ages, but also, the sports and the things, that go along with the high school are just something that, I'm truly passionate about. So I was more than happy to have the opportunity.
A few weeks ago, I took one of my Wednesday adventures that I do across Northeast Mississippi in Walnut, and I spent a good bit of time on your campus, and man, it is spread out up there. It's a big old campus.
It is spread out, and a lot going on the campus right now. We just demolished the old gym, which was Tech Prep building. My building, original high school building, is in the process of we're phasing out of it, getting out of it. There's some plans for a new building on the west side of the math science that would kind of connect the elementary and that one. But like you said, we have the whole block on Commerce all the way down to the Dollar General by 72. So it's pretty spread out.
You said you've been here for 6 years. That's not all you've done in education, correct?
No, ma'am. This is my 12th year as an administrator. Before that, I spent 9 years as a teacher, football coach. I did the strength conditioning programs for all the sports, anywhere where I was. Loved it. I always said I'd never be a principal, never go in administration. And when I was at Thrasher, if you're the head football coach, you're also kind of considered the assistant to the principal because there was no assistant principal at that time. One day, Rivers wasn't there, and I had to sit in on a meeting with a 8-year-old little girl, her mom, her stepdad, and one of the teachers. And I'll just be completely honest, I did not like the way the stepdad was treating the girl. I did not like the way he was talking to the girl. On the way out, I shook his hand pretty tight and maybe whisper some things into his ear. And that day I knew that, God was pushing me, letting me know I could do a lot more for a lot more students in a role as administrator, not a coach.
It's tough to leave the classroom. I know I did it myself, and you mourn the fact that you're getting away from the kids, but you're actually stepping into a bigger shoe. You can do a lot more for a lot more kids when you're an administrator. You
can, and I'm still, I was just telling Chris before you and I started the interview, right now this year, I've actually, since we're out of my building, I've taken over a Chromebook cart. It sits in the middle of the hallway of our high school, and that's my office. And, some people thought I was joking about it, but I love it because, probably if you ask parents, the biggest complaint anybody says about me is, well, I can't ever get him on the phone. He's never in the office. I'm not in the office. I don't want to be in the office. I'm in classrooms. I'm in hallways. I love it. So, and it's fun too. Kind of like a uncle or a grandparent. I go in the kindergarten room. I get the kindergartners all stirred up, and then I get to leave the teacher to have to deal with them.
What is the population of Walnut Attendance Center?
This year, we are sitting on 499 students. This will be my first year, and this year will be the only time we've been under 500. Last year, I think we sat around 520, 515. When you look at the numbers, our elementary is actually real small because of collegiate, since they feed in. So your K through 8 are real small. I mean, sometimes we have classes with 20 kids in an entire grade, but then when they come over and feed into us, then your high school classes usually end up sitting at about 60 per grade.
And you're 2A in athletics, right?
Yes, ma'am. We're middle of the road 2A school.
Middle of the road. You're not just over the line. That's not a good place to be ever. Just over any line.
No, we're no danger of going down to 1A. We're in no danger of going up to 3A. So
Okay.
we're pretty safe where we are.
That's good. Now talk about the game that you just played real briefly. Just talk about your football game from last Friday night.
We played the Ashland Blue Devils in what had to be the hottest game I've ever been a part of. It was absolutely miserable. I felt sorry for the kids, but I was amazed. I was expecting a 4.5-hour game because of cramps. We had one kid cramp at halftime for Ashland, and that was it. It was the first quarter lasted forever. First quarter, I think, lasted an hour. And right before half, though, we went up by 38 points. Drew Jackson threw an amazing go route to Adrian Palmer. So with the new mercy rule, the clock never stopped second half. So the second half literally maybe lasted 30 minutes, and we ended up winning 59-8.
Okay, congratulations on that. And speaking of athletics and then academics, you just have to wear so many hats. Surely you don't do this alone. Do you have some help?
I do. Marcy Bryant's my assistant. She helps me a whole lot. And then John Meeks, my athletic director, he kind of gets pulled in other directions because he's coaching football in the fall. He helps with softball in the spring. But, they help me with a lot of that. I've got 2 girls who, high school volleyball, high school basketball for one of them, both of them high school softball. So I'm there anyway. That's probably the hardest thing is sometimes getting to make it to a junior high football game because there's a volleyball game going on that I'm going to be at, or getting to make it to as many baseball games as I want to in the spring because I'm going to be at softball. But, since they're there anyway, I'm there. I always take those game administrator duties. So this will be the first year I've had one in high school basketball, so it'll be a little interesting. Marcy and John have kind of always taken a lot of that from me on the road. So, but this year I don't get an excuse. I'll bet those as well.
Yeah, it's tough. Anytime a principal has a high school with all the sports, you are just on the road all year long.
We are, and you get to the point that the start of the year is hard. I have to get back into the mode of just being perpetually tired. And you stay so tired that you just don't realize anymore that you are tired. But like I said, my passion is with athletics. I love going to the games, and I tell our people all the time, my teachers, especially those junior high kids, go watch them, support them, have a conversation with them the next day about, hey, I saw you did this. That was great. Hey, I'm proud of you. It means a lot to those kids, especially, junior high age when it's new and they are so excited. Our junior high volleyball team this year, I swear, I feel like we have 112 girls on it, and they get so excited over the smallest things, and it's just fun to watch that genuine love for what they're doing.
Yeah, I've heard so many athletes say, if it weren't for volleyball, if it weren't for football, if it weren't for whatever sport they played, they would have never graduated.
And I don't think that holds true just for athletics. You look at activities as a whole, the vocational opportunities that we provide. I've always said you got to give them a reason to want to come to school. And that was something I actually looked at when I was the athletic director and assistant principal at Winona. I had to always, once a year, do a state of athletics for our school board. And so one time I decided to look at the number of students we had who were involved in athletics or activities versus my discipline. 83% of our kids were involved in athletics and academics. The other 17% of those kids was 75% of my discipline.
Wow.
So the numbers don't lie.
No, the numbers don't lie. You're absolutely right. Well, there's bound to be a lot going on up there in Walnut. Is there anything in particular that's new that you want people to know about?
Just a lot going on. The school district is really committed to trying to improve our facilities. The metal on the gym is being replaced as we speak. They're working on the field house right now. Like I said, we just demolished the old gym, made parking out there, which was really necessary. There's always something going on construction. Well, I don't know that since I've been there, we haven't had some kind of project going on. And, sometimes it causes minor inconveniences. You have to change pickup, drop-off lines, things like that. But, that's the price you pay for progress. And I'm just really pleased with the fact that our school board and the superintendent invested in my campus.
I have to mention your math and science team. They are widely known around here for being fantastic year after year. Do you look for that to happen again this year?
There's two things I expect to win every year: a state championship in archery and math science competitions. And it's so fun because my teachers do a phenomenal job of that. Beth, Landon, Greg Winter. And there's nothing more fun than to show up and beat the Tupelos, beat the Oxfords, beat Madison Central. It's, being a small country school, I don't know. Of course, I'm a little competitive too. So, but our kids do an amazing job. My teachers do an amazing job. It's really fun just to go in there and watch them practice sometimes because they're speaking a language I don't understand.
Yeah, and your archery team, I hadn't even thought about that. They are fantastic as well.
The only thing that has ever beaten us in archery is COVID. Since I've been there, we've won the state championship every year. Last year, our junior high team, had they been in the high school division, they would have been second place behind our high school. That's how good their score was.
Hey, let's talk about accountability. I know that the scores are either out or about to come out. Do you guys have a grade letter rating yet?
We do. We're going to be a B school again this year for 2 years in a row. So really happy about that overall. It's hard as an attendance center because you have so many scores going in. My high school does an amazing job. If my high school was a standalone high school the last 2 years, they would have been a really, really strong A. Last year, before we even got our U.S. history scores, I only needed 3 more points to be an A school. And like I said, that just my hats go off to those teachers. Greg Winter, who does my algebra, and Landon Meeks, who teaches my biology, maybe 2 of the best in the state. Their scores are always absolutely out of this world. And like I said, Lindsey Carl does a great job making us too. Randy Bishop with U.S. history. Probably the biggest thing that's hurt us is proficiency in the lower elementary. And part of that I still attribute to those COVID years, losing some of those foundational skills. And, so that's really a focus this year. And everybody can't be proficient, but if we can really focus on the growth in the elementary, I think we have a chance to possibly be an A next year.
Well, congratulations, because a B is hard to get when you are a K-12 school. There's just so many factors that you have to – it's like wrangling cats. Getting them all lined up is so hard.
Yeah, it is. And, just like I said, we're a small school, and trying to study that data and trying to find time to work with each teacher on, all right, here's where your kids are, here's what they need to be, here's our plan. You just get spread so thin trying to do that. And again, though, I'm going to focus a lot more on my elementary this year than I have. Most of my time ends up being devoted to the junior high and the high school. Marcy Bryant, my assistant, kind of takes the elementary. But this year I've committed myself to making sure that me and my elementary teachers get a lot more face-to-face time, and we look at those things, and hopefully I can help them out.
Yeah, I bet you'll be an A next year. I can feel it.
I hope so. Like I said, it's tough, but like I said, talking about sports, it doesn't matter what. If there's a number, a way to win, I'm the most competitive person you'll find. So my teachers do an amazing job. My staff is absolutely amazing.
I'm so excited to highlight all 8 schools in this county because every one of them is so unique, so different, and so awesome in its own way. And Mr. Rolison, I'm glad you're heading up Walnut, and I'm glad that they have you and that you have such a great team to work with.
Well, I'm just happy that God blessed me, 6 years ago to get to come home, have the opportunity to work there every day. For the last 2 years, my morning routine is from the time I get in my truck here in Ripley till I get there, I pray the entire time. And, one huge chunk of my prayer is about my school, and God truly blessed me to be there. So every day, I pray over my school, I pray for my school, and I just ask God to help me be the man that my school needs that day.
That's a good thing to do every day, and I know that there are a lot of people out there who are praying the same thing. So thanks so much for coming and talking to me today.
It's been a joy. I appreciate y'all having me.
All right, everybody, that's it for this edition of the Shark 102.3 Halftime Show. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the game.
The Tippah County Football Halftime Show has been brought to you by the Shark 102.3. The Shark is proud to support our Tippah County student athletes and wishes all the band members, cheerleaders, dancers, and football players success and safety this season. The Shark rocks, and so do you.